the characters that play, the actors that play the characters you wrote, did you have any say or did you have any suggestion in?
Oh yeah, Ken's very collaborative really, so we actually saw a lot of the actors together, not all of them, but then when it gets down to a short list, we actually do several improvisations and we videotape those, and so we just talk about it and and try and decide who we think would be best, so it's he's very, very open and very collaborative, and it's very, very nice to have to be involved like that. We did the same for Carla's song and for this one, and for My Name Is Joe.
And
Saturn, c'est bon.
Yeah, and you were talking about improvisation in the choice of the actors.
Well, I think Ken's way of choosing the actors really is to give the characters a situation and to let them play that. And it might be something that's similar to a scene in the film, but he doesn't give them script or anything like that at all. And then he gives them an improvisation, and then the characters, play that improvisation, and then we videotape it, and then we can try and watch and see whether that particular person would fit for that particular part or not. So it's he doesn't give them scripts to read or anything like that.
And even during the actual filming, you mean actors don't have scripts?
Oh no, they get the script, yeah. But they don't always get the script together in a lump sum. They don't get 100 pages of script. They'll usually get it, 2 or 3 days in advance, according to the size or the complexity of the script. But if it's something that's, perhaps is going to be a surprise to the character, Ken plays tricks on them, and sometimes they might not get the script, or somebody will get the script and somebody won't. So there's no golden rule. Depends very much on the circumstances. But generally speaking, they get the script, a couple of days in advance. I think the idea is that it keeps people fresh, and there's something very, there's a very deep human psychology here, and that is if you're curious about something, I think you really want to find out what's kind of going on, really. But there's no golden rule. I think it just depends on the characters and the circumstances,
And I know that Ken Loach is very careful about the accuracy of details and things and reality. Do you share this need for precision and being very observant?
Well, we try and just, if we have a character who's, playing an alcoholic, we want to be, or who's attending AA meetings, we want to make sure that, we respect the traditions of AA and, are not telling lies about them or exaggerating or being melodramatic. So I totally share that. And likewise, if you're going to have convincing three-dimensional characters, I think they have to have the ring of truth about them. If you're just playing with stereotypes, I suppose it doesn't really matter, but, we're trying to build three-dimensional characters with complex lives, so I think you just try and make it as truthful as possible, yeah.
And my last question will be, I don't know how to put it very well in English, but we do have the feeling of a renewal of Scotland, of films in Scotland, and something is developing, like film start to be considered as much as a Scottish film as maybe they used to be more British film. Well, anyway, you can. I'll just explain myself so it will be shorter.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you. I don't know. How would?
Okay, so turn.
I'm just trying to say. Yeah. Did you share this feeling that there is something, a renewal of film in Scotland? Something new happening in between film industry and Scotland, or? What do you feel about that?
So everybody says. I don't really consider myself an expert in film, really. I've worked in 2 films now, Carla's Song and obviously My Name Is Joe, and what I've seen is great energy and lots of talent. And I think like in any country under the sun, it's possible to tell strong stories there, because I think human beings are complex and difficult and funny and contradictory, every single country in the world, really. So I don't see why we can't tell strong stories in Scotland as opposed to the United States or California. And so I just love to see strong stories being told in other places outside the ones that are traditionally associated with film. So if it is the case, I'm delighted. But what I always love is going into a different place, a different circumstance, a different culture, and trying to capture something of that. I hate when everything's flattened out and turned into kind of a, very similar tasting pudding. I don't like McDonald's, and I don't like that in film either.
But what would be the particularity you could feel from a film in Scotland then, from Scottish films? What would be special about that?
Well, I think, every single culture's got its own identifiable uniqueness. There's accent, there's sense of humour, there's a way of looking at the world. The circumstances are always different. And I think if a film can capture some of that, that's just another little bit of, you know, human experience exposed to other people that might not have seen it. So I'm always delighted to see the complexity and diversity in life, and so if we can do that in our films, I'll be very happy.
Is there anything I didn't ask you would like to add?
No, I don't think. I mean, what would I like to add, really? Well, I suppose what I'm interested in is that, you know, this film is set very much against the backdrop of contemporary Scotland, contemporary Glasgow, you know, and I think what we see in Glasgow, as in, you know, lots of cities, is there's massive unemployment. I mean, where we're filming this film just now, there's 40% unemployment, you know, and I think there's a cosy consensus in Europe, and especially in Britain now too, that, you know, Britain's doing very, very well, you know, and I think what we have is an acceptance by politicians that we have a 2/3, 1/3, you know, society. 2/3 are doing okay, and if you have 2/3 doing okay, that's fine. But what we see, and certainly I've seen in the research for this film, because when I was doing this film I just walked the streets all around here, and you see 1/3 of the population are simply forgotten about. And the more I've seen of the people we've worked with, you know, even some of the actors here, there are absolutely thousands and thousands of young kids desperate to participate. And sometimes people see this in terms of, right, oh, we want to get back to a welfare state and people having a dignified life and all that. But what's really struck me is that people have something very deep within them, and that is the right to contribute, you know. And in a very small way, I've seen that in this film. I've seen great talent and great energy. And the thing that really makes me mad and makes me so sad is when I look around and I see this city, you know, one part is very, very successful and very rich, and then there are other parts out of sight and out of mind, you know, with people living there whose lives have simply been written off and seen as irrelevant. And so I suppose that really makes me angry, really. And in a way, I hope the film will somehow kind of tap into that and show that, you know, everybody's life is important, and if there's a political will, we can give people useful things to do, and everybody's determined to work and determined to find something useful. You know, I'm always amazed at, you know, how much people want to contribute and how few people are given the chance. And I think that's probably true not only for the city of Glasgow, but many cities in Great Britain and many cities in Europe where there's 11 million people unemployed.
Because I have the feeling that you put a line between people who have a work and people who don't, actually. As you say, people who can contribute and people who can't.
Yeah, well,
even so, the people who work have not that much money, really.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very basic human need, really, is it, to contribute, you know. And if you're seen as marginalised and you're seen as useless and seen as just a statistic, and you don't feel you're contributing, I think that really undermines people. Well, it certainly undermines me. If I don't feel like I'm contributing and I don't feel I'm working, you know, I feel a lesser person for it, you know. And I suppose, you know, lots of people would feel the same, really. And what I've seen in particular in this film are lots of, especially young people, who have never worked in their lives, you know, and have got so much to contribute and so much talent.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, just being an actor it's just so easy compared to directing. I can't believe you get paid to walk and talk. I find that remarkable. They give me money to just walk and talk, and that's it. And when it rains, you don't give a monkeys. When poor Ken is you know, losing sleep over clouds coming over, sun coming in, sun coming out, I don't care. I'm having a ball. It's great fun. Because he's the actor's director. He's the ultimate actor's director, because he always makes you feel really at ease. You don't have to stick, obviously, by the script. You get to play around with it. But he gives you the map. He gives you the... You know, you find your own way there. But he tells you where the territory lies. And you just, you know... He gives you a wee compass. Off you go. You find it. And it's great. It's just really great fun. It's pish, cliche. It's great fun to work on. But it is, it's true. It is very stimulating.
What can you tell us about your character in the film?
Very little, because they don't tell me. All I know is he's a recovering alcoholic, that he runs a football team, and that's it. Because they don't tell me anymore. Ken doesn't. You get the script. I've not seen the full script, and I'm given the script little pieces at a time, tiny little bits, and everybody's told not to tell you anything. So I now know what it's like to live in, if I was in sort of Moscow under the KGB, because you ask any questions of anyone. That includes schedule. Is there going to be lunch today? People go, hold on, I'll just check. You know, I don't know if it's okay to tell you. So you don't know zip. You don't know anything. So that's all I know about the character.